Good afternoon for those of you on the East Coast, and good morning to everybody else. This is Chris McDonald, and today's Timer Tip Tuesday is on the Race Day mobile timing app or backup mode. For those of you that are just joining and this is your first time on one of these webinars, you should have a dashboard on the right-hand side. And you can ask questions. We have James Harris on the back end answering your questions. So feel free to chime in, ask questions. If a number of you are asking the same question, we'll pause and James will let me know what that question is and we'll answer it for you. So with that being said, we still have a few more people joining, but I think we're going to go ahead and get started. So yeah. So the Race Day mobile timing app was developed a few years ago as kind of a pet project for an intern, and not much. There wasn't much of an idea to develop any further than what it was, and then we kept getting requests for, we would love to be able to use this mobile timing app as a backup timing function for our chip timing systems. Originally, it was just going to be a standalone thing. And for very, very small events, like 20, 30, 40 people, or long events where you don't have a lot of bandwidth at the finish line. But I think that as we, developed this product, we saw a need for the expansion of this into an actual backup timing solution. A number of you use Summit readers or Tomato readers, or time machines. Some of you maybe just have a pencil and a piece of paper and are writing things down as folks are crossing the line. Well, with this new update, it provides you an actual solution that can integrate in directly with Race Director and Race Day scoring for backup timing. So that being said, some things about the app: it is completely free. The timing data files are created in backup timer mode. They're automatically sent to Dropbox as they're being recorded. So we're going to talk some about Dropbox and how to set that up today. You will need an account with Dropbox in order to do this. We do suggest using Dropbox. I know a number of you use like a Google Drive or things like that to save files. However, sometimes there are errors in how the files are saved, and it doesn't notify Race Day scoring as in the same way that a normal file saving system would. So we do suggest using Dropbox for this. Backup timing mode does not require you to set a start time, and it'll always record the time of day like a chip system would. And it can be imported into Race Day scoring, Race Director, and it could be used, like we said, to be used in lieu of the chip system, but the real purpose and what we're talking about here is used as a backup scenario. So the Dropbox integration is only available in the backup timer mode. So we're going to walk you through that setup. So you're going to open the app and you're going to select backup timer, which is right here. From there, you're going to, if you've never used it before, mobile time is going to ask you to log in to RunSignup. So you'll hit the continue button and you will authorize, similar to that same OAuth to request that you get in Race Day scoring. So you'll authorize the use of login into RunSignup from the app. And once you do that, you'll get all of your races. And so you can select the race that you want to record backup times. So once you've done that, when you click in, if there's multiple events, you can then select or deselect what events that you want to record times for. So let's say that there's like a fun run and a 5K, you can choose to not select the fun run. This will determine which bib numbers are available when using the bib grid recording method. But again, you can record any bibs when you're in that backup timing mode. So you select that and then you hit continue. So once you get in, it's going to ask, do you want to go into recorder mode or results? Well, at this point, you actually pause because you need to hit the Dropbox icon, which is right here. You'll hit the Dropbox icon in the top right, and this will create a folder with the name of the race in your Dropbox account under a mobile timing app folder. We'll talk about the folder structure here in a second, but you will click this little Dropbox icon, and it will say mobile timing wants to use Dropbox to sign in. So again, we're signing in to RunSignup, then we're signing in to Dropbox from the mobile timing app. So you'll hit the continue button and you'll enter in your username and password for Dropbox and hit sign in. So at this point, you are signing in and it is giving you an update at this point. Continuing will enable Dropbox backup for your timing data, and it's giving you all the information. So you're hitting OK at this point. And then you have to allow RayStay mobile timing to edit the contents of your Dropbox folder. Now, it says very clearly here that it's only within the app's RayStay timing folder. So this is the only folder that it's adding things to. And so you want to allow that. And then at this point, you're going to set the location name. Now, just like a decoder, or whatever timing solution you have out there, you've got to think about this as a singular location. Yes, with your phone, you can walk around and you can go from the finish line to the start line to the 5K split or what have you. So you need to keep that in mind, that the device that you're setting this up needs to stay at that location, because you're not going to want to toggle in between locations with the same device. So if you're wanting to get backup timing data at, like, say, a turnaround point, you would want a device dedicated to that timing, that turnaround point. Just like if you had a decoder out there, you would have a decoder dedicated to that timing point. So you can set the location of the backup data, and in this scenario, it's finish, but you could have whatever naming scheme you want to. And this will create a subfolder in Dropbox that uses the location name as the folder name. The beauty of that is, just like you're used to if you're doing file streaming in RayStay Scoring or Race Director for that matter, you're pointing at a folder, and the scoring platform is actually looking at changes in the folder to pull in new data. So you do want to make sure whenever you're doing this that you're not putting anything else into that folder. And it's only this data set. So it's creating that folder for you, it's dumping the data, and after you set the location names, you'll see the Dropbox icon on the top start to pulse blue, indicating that your timing data is pushing to Dropbox. So then you go into recorder mode. So once you've saved, you go into recorder mode and you start entering bibs and times as usual. So what does that look like? It looks like this in the background, and you can also edit the bib numbers or delete times in recorder mode by tapping the bib numbers, swiping left to delete. So you can also click into it and say, ooh, I didn't mean to type 555, it should be 558. You hit OK. And so you're also able to record multiple times for a single bib number. So you can see here, we typed in 88 a bunch of different times. And this is to allow you to use it for lap races where you need to record multiple passings per person. Now, keep in mind, you can still use all your filters and things like that in RayStay Scoring. So if you've got a filter, like in this scenario, we have 11, 38, 21, 23, 25, 26. It's just like if somebody's standing on a start line, it's not gonna keep pulling these reads in and using like, oh, we've got 50 reads that are being calculated for this person. No, it's gonna, whatever you're pulling it in. So if this is I think we call this a finish line. So if it's a finish line, it's gonna take the first scene. So it's still gonna treat all of this like all of this data coming in, as it would if it was a chip system. So if you have a time between same chip or gap factor set to like whatever 4 minutes, it's only going to take one of these, and you can keep typing it in and typing it in, and it'll keep pulling it into race day scoring, but it'll be ignored because of your filters. So just keep that in mind. So this is going to be treated just like a backup or just like a chip system coming in. And then once you're finished and you've got all your times in there, you can hit the save button in the top right to complete timing and log out of Dropbox. And now you can review the data in results mode and make adjustments and email the times, but none of those changes will go to Dropbox. So keep in mind that any changes you make in here once you go into a different mode will not push to Dropbox. It's only in here. So the folder structure that we were talking about, you will need to create a folder and it'll be under Dropbox, apps, and then race day mobile timing. And then you'll have your race name and location name, where race name is the race name and location name are your actual location names. So you will need to have this folder, race day mobile timing, put into your Dropbox account, and that is where the files are going to land once you connect the.
Just a little clarification on that. We do the OAuth login to Dropbox. That folder will be created for you. You don't need to create anything ahead of time. The apps folder in Dropbox is a special folder for apps that integrate with Dropbox. And then each app that integrates will create its own folder. So just do the OAuth login and we'll take care of everything for you. The only thing we need you to do is say what the location name is.
Oh, there you go. So once this is what you're going to see in there. So you've got your Dropbox, your app folder. You're going to see this race day mobile timing once you've connected it. And then you will see all of your events that you've connected. These will be created once you link into that specific event. And then once you go into the event, you will see all of the locations that you've created on different devices. So in this scenario, there are 3 different locations that were created and synced to Dropbox. And then within those folders, you will see the actual file that's being dropped in. That's a TXT file that the actual timing data is. So this is the actual file from the mobile timing app. In the mobile timing app, the file format was updated recently to mimic PC timer. So when you go into, I think the next slide, yep, is exactly that. So when you're creating a stream in race day scoring, so this scenario is back up, race day finish. And so when you create the stream type, you can select PC timer or mobile timing file, and then you point at your folder path that you're using, and it'll automatically create your file extension as TXT and your passing format as bibcode, comma, ISO date time, with the field delimiter as a comma. And you can still use all of your filters that you're normally using in your timing locations. And yeah, so it's treated exactly like an actual chip system. So it's a fairly simple setup, but this is a really great tool for those of you that are out there scoring and race day scoring, because some people didn't want to purchase really expensive backup timing devices, or maybe you're not using, some people are using links out there for backup timing, or dental links. And this is, yet another great tool in your toolbox as a timer, in case something happens, where invariably a chip is not going to read, or you're already confirming on a piece of paper, but you're having to transfer that data back and forth. This is something that you can hand to a volunteer and potentially use to validate finishers. So with that being said, you guys always keep, you're always saying you want short and to the point. So are there any questions? And I don't want to hold you any longer because hopefully you guys are going out there and testing these tools on a Tuesday or a Wednesday for rollout on Saturday and Sunday.
Great job, Chris. Just wanted to highlight a couple things just to kind of round this out a little bit. If you could go back to the screen where you were doing the bib entry, just want to highlight one extra function on that screen. So one of the things that we did do, again, if you have this screen right here, if you do have a low density event where you don't have like 100 people or whatever, where you see the little dot, dot, dot up there next to the save icon, if you hit that and you're like on a tablet, we're gonna just bring up like at the bottom, like all the bibs, and you can just make it a little bit quicker to do your bib entry. You can just like click the button for bib 5, bib 10. And like, so we have like all these buttons in this grid and you can just like hit the buttons as you see people. Makes that bib entry a little less error prone and also make it quicker for you. Again, probably the best thing for a lower density event in terms of like the number of bibs.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing we wanted to highlight here about the Dropbox, so as far as the Dropbox integration goes, it's pretty important to remember when you're done, you need to kind of hit that save that you see on the screen here, and this will log you out of Dropbox and kind of get you set up for the next event. It is important to know with this app, when you're logged into a given race, you can't switch between races, you can't go to another race. You'll see that race list screen will be locked out for all the other races. And if you see that mode, just remember that you didn't close out your last session. So we just need you to close out by hitting that save button on this screen, and that will log you out of Dropbox for this race, and then go on. If for some reason, you know what, you inadvertently did that and you still have more data, not a problem. Just go log back in and we'll pick up and create a new file and you'll have all your passings. It's very important to understand on this screen, we're constantly every 30 seconds writing all the data. So it's a complete reentrant model that it's always going to write everything we have. So if you get disconnected, you just log back into Dropbox. Whatever we have on this device will get rewritten to a new file. So again, how race day scoring works, not a problem for us because we're constantly keeping an index on the file, and we'll only be bringing in new reads. And so it all works really well. So just a couple things I wanted to highlight there in terms of how the Dropbox integration works, and especially in terms of switching between events.
Perfect. Thanks, James.
And moving to the questions, if you want to bring those up, see if there's a highlight.
Let's see. Does the backup data show in results tab of the website? So this is when we're talking about backup data here, we're talking about using it as a chip system into the race day scoring. You can push results from the mobile timing app up directly to RunSignup as results, and that's what James was talking about. So yes, you can set it up that way. But the main thing that I was showing is how to use it in terms of chip, a chip system.
Yeah, and exactly. And so again, this is not replacing the whole pull tag, manual finish result mode. All that stuff is in the app. There's a couple questions about that in the questions panel here today. We're just demonstrating today the backup timer mode. But if you want to do this standard bibs and results and posting to make results, that'll be the other mode that's been available in the app for some time now.
So there's a question in regards to can time of bibs be entered separately and merged together like mobile timing app? So you can do that and go back, but the purpose of this is you're not going to want to. I don't think you're going to want to try to merge those for backup timing data.
Yeah, that would be more the finish line shoot mode, and we've always brought that to you, and you can always email that and make that as a separate file that you bring into scoring. So, but that's completely separate mode. Yeah.
Exactly. So you can still use it as backup files, but it's a little bit more manual. But this Dropbox mode is not. You're not going to want to do it with Dropbox mode. Can you have multiple volunteers at the finish with multiple devices and locations, say finish A and finish B? Absolutely. So if you have a very high density finish line or a very wide finish line, maybe like 8 or 12 meters wide or something like that, you could have 10 people on devices. You would just need to have each device set to a different, in quotation marks, location name. So you would say, you know, finish A, finish B, finish C, finish D, and you would create streams for all of those, and you can put all of those as backup streams into a singular location. So yes, you can absolutely have as many devices as you want to, pushing to as many locations as you want to. So that's a non-issue. Um, let's see. Do you need a Dropbox paying account? I do not believe you do, James. That there any reason why you would have to pay for a? I've not run into a scenario where you would have to pay.
It really all comes down to how much data you use. Dropbox is like other services. They're going to give you a certain amount of storage to start out with, which is probably going to be enough for the type of stuff that we're doing here. We're not doing photos and stuff like that. So just get your account created. They have very good entry-level free accounts. And then if you end up using it for other things and having a lot of data, you might end up having to upgrade that account.
Yep. I mean, as a timer, I use Dropbox heavily, and having a paid Dropbox account has been invaluable just because that's where we store everything, so we can access all of our files remotely if needed. And then a number of people asked about split times, and absolutely you can use this for split times, split time data. Again, you would just point it at that. You would have the device at the split. You would call the split whatever you want to call it, and then you would select that stream that you've made in race day scoring and point it at your split location. And you could use it as a primary at that split location. So you don't have to use this as backup data if you didn't want to. But again, like if you're doing visual work and somebody misses someone or they type in the wrong thing and you're doing it primary, I mean, it's you could run into some issues. So, but again, if it's a low density, no big deal. So yeah, I think that.
Yeah. In fact, we put a blog out about this for the ultra space, especially like out on trail situations and kind of maybe remote kind of locations. It might be difficult to get equipment out there. So this provides a really nice solution for those types of locations. And then again, everything's stored on the device. And then once you move the device to where you have cell reception, that data will sync.
Yep. All right. Well, I think that covered all the questions, and I appreciate everyone joining. And James, thanks so much for your help, and look forward to chatting with you guys very soon with more Timer Tip Tuesdays. So I will talk to you soon. Have a great rest of your day.
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm trying the remote. It's not working. I don't know what to do. I feel like I'm at a rave back here. I've never been to a rave, but this is how I imagine a rave would feel. Anyway, let me know when the people are done watching the video, okay? Because I need to thank them all for watching and tell them they can subscribe to the channel, click the notification bell and all if they want to see more videos from us. Plus, I was going to ask them to like the video, click the thumbs up button and all that. So just keep an eye out, all right? Gotta get this thing figured out. What is this? All right, I think I slowed it down, but it's still, I don't get this.